What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, the sparring wars continue. As they continue to get heated, these conversations about sparring is getting more and more heated. Most recently, we had undefeated, three-division world champion, former junior welterweight undisputed world champion, currently the reigning WBO welterweight world champion, who is widely considered by many to be the number one best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, in Terence Bud Crawford, who is 39 wins, no loss, no draw, 30 big wins by way of knockout, 35 years of age, 5'8" with a 74-inch arm reach. His team and his close friend and trainer, and Bernie, the boxer, was on the Boxing Voice, and he was discussing sparring. He was going back and forth with another fighter who's an undefeated, on the verge of being a superstar star, title contender, who's a prospect. His prospect going into the star. His name is known big in the sparring session, in the sparring world, in the boxing world, and he definitely, the future is bright for him, and that's none other than Brian Norman Jr., who is 23 wins, no loss, no draw, 19 wins by way of knockout, 22 years of age, 5'8" with a 72-inch arm reach. He's coming off of a victory over Rodrigo Damian Corla. That was January 14th. Okay, his debut on Top Rank. With that said, okay, Brian Norman Jr., he sparred Terence Crawford, okay, down in Atlanta, in Georgia. And, this sparring session, according to reports, it got heated. So today they went back and forth. Bernie said, all he got to do is come back to, all he got to do is come to Nebraska, sparring session. Terence Crawford is always in the gym, and they could get it on, okay? Now, sources call me close to the situation that was physically there, two people to be exact, that was there, and it stated that Brian Norman got the best of Terence Crawford in the sparring session, that he actually blasted Terence Crawford and stood Terence Crawford up in the sparring session, absolutely had Terence Crawford out on his feet for momentarily for a split second with a big right hand, a counter right hand, countered Terence Crawford, right? And the point of me saying this is this, right? Now, I wasn't personally there, so I don't know, but this is a source close to it. Two sources very, very close to this situation, okay? I'm very familiar with Brian Norman. I'm very familiar with Brian Norman Sr., okay? And we know Brian Norman, he had glorified sparring sessions that being talked about between himself and another fighter that's a superstar and undefeated three-division world champion, superstar boxer Gervonta Tank Davis. Okay, it's being said that Brian Norman got the best of Gervonta Tank Davis, but in this case, it's being stated that Brian Norman absolutely rocked Terence Bud Crawford, blasted him, and had him out on his feet momentarily for a split second, right? And actually did it twice in the sparring session, right? But Terence Crawford, he definitely, showed up and showed out, is what I've been told. And that he wasn't, knocked out, but he was out on his feet momentarily. He was buzzed badly by Brian Norman Jr., right? And so, they went back and forth on the Boxing Voice. Shout out to Ness. Shout out to Danny. And they went back and forth on the Boxing Voice about Brian Norman flying out to, Nebraska to spar Terence Crawford, so on and so forth. It got heated, right? And, people say, well, this is just sparring. Sparring doesn't matter. It matters in the sport of boxing. Let me explain to you guys why sparring matters in the sport of boxing. It creates a storyline. Now, again, like I said, I wasn't there for Brian Norman's sparring session with Gervonta Tank Davis, nor was I there when he sparred Terence Crawford. But these two folks that told me about the Terence Crawford sparring session is, also I got people told me about the Gervonta Tank Davis sparring session. But the two that told me about this Terence Crawford sparring session, right, are very, very close to the situation. Okay, trained at the gym, was there. One actually told me that who is a trainer at the gym. Okay, that Brian Norman absolutely rocked and shocked everybody, and everybody was completely shocked immediately that he rocked Terence Crawford in the manner he did in his sparring session. Okay, this was Terence Crawford. This was when this was back in September when Shakur Stevenson fought against Jamel Herring. Okay, when Shakur Stevenson fought against Jamel Herring. This was back in September. Okay, and they were in New Jersey. Excuse me, no, what fight was that? This was a fight in Atlanta that took place that Terence Crawford attended. You know, I don't remember exactly what fight it was, but I believe it was a Shakur Stevenson fight. I don't remember which fight it was, but Terence Crawford wasn't fighting. He was just in attendance. Okay, um, and this is what I'm being told took place. Nonetheless, we know the sparring session, the glorified sparring sessions with Devin Haney and Gervonta Tank Davis, Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney, Rolly Romero and Ryan Garcia, Floyd Mayweather, Errol Spence Jr. They go all the way back to Mike Tyson and Mitch Bud Green, Larry Holmes and Muhammad Ali, right? Sparring sessions, I know people say that sparring sessions don't matter, but they do. They're very important because what the sparring sessions are is a storyline. Okay, for instance, you'll have preseason games in the NFL. Now, maybe you have Jerry Rice and Deion Sanders. They match up against each other, right? It's not going to count against the season. It's not going to determine whether you make it to the playoffs or not. But it's a storyline. If Deion Sanders gets the best of Jerry Rice in the preseason game, and they only play uh, let's say 4 series. But in those 4 series, Deion Sanders get the best of Jerry Rice. And when they go to the regular season, should they face, it's going to be a built-in storyline already. Okay, let's say it's a preseason game in the NBA. You get LeBron James and Kevin Durant. And let's say Kevin Durant drops 25 points in a short period of time on LeBron James in the preseason game. Well, guess what? On that Christmas Day or whatever holiday they play again, the storyline is going to be there. It's built up. Okay, and this goes on and on for major sports, and it's there also for the sport of boxing. It creates a major storyline. Okay, it creates a narrative, right? It's going to build up said fight. So if Errol Spence was ever to face Floyd Mayweather, for example, if Errol Spence was ever to face Floyd Mayweather, well, guess what? The storyline is going to be. It's going to focus on what took place in that sparring session. It's going to intrigue the casual fans. Well, Floyd Mayweather, he got his eye blackened by Errol Spence, or Floyd Mayweather, like Nate Jones said, Floyd Mayweather got hit him with an uppercut and buckled him, right? That creates a storyline. So it is important, okay, what takes place in sparring. Now, does it mean a fight is going to win or lose? No, it don't determine whether a fight is going to win or lose. But it builds up a storyline, and the sport of boxing needs storylines, okay? So with that said, if Devin Haney was to fight Gervonta Tank Davis tomorrow, guess what the storyline is going to be? The build-up, the press conference, the weigh-in. Guess what they're going to be talking about? Those 2 sparring sessions that's leading up into this fight that absolutely counts under the lights, right? Everybody's going to try to make their decision based off of if you was there personally and saw the sparring session, what happened, and if you heard about it, you're gonna base it off of what happened. You might know somebody that was there to tell you, and you trust their word, and you're gonna build your perspective of what's gonna how the fight is gonna be determined based off of that, right? You can't help but to do it. Okay, although we know what you do in sparring doesn't determine whether you win under the lights, but we know it's important, right? That is going to be embedded in your brain, and you're going to use that as a measuring stick as to who will win the fight. Okay, and so with that said, Brian Norman Jr. he stated that his timing was able to get the best of Terrence Crawford, so he favors Errol Spence, which is the biggest fight in boxing, Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford, to beat Terrence Crawford because Errol Spence has great timing, and he says that Errol Spence will stop Terrence Crawford. And obviously, Team Crawford, they didn't take too kind of that, and they invited Brian Norman Jr. to make his way down to Omaha, Nebraska, to have another repeat in a sparring session to see how this really plays out. If because these guys are fighters, so it does matter. Okay, they can tell you it don't matter all they want, but it does matter when the lights are bright. It absolutely matters, point blank and period. So I've heard that Brian Norman got the best of Terrence Crawford, stood him up, buzzed him, had him momentarily out on his feet, okay, shocked, okay, buzzed on his feet. But does it matter? Well, a storyline is being built up. Will they ever fight when it counts? I highly doubt that because they're in two different places in their careers. Does it really matter what actually took place? No. But what does matter is the storyline. So my point in saying this to say is that when people say sparring doesn't matter, it absolutely matters in the sport of boxing. It needs it. Okay, it needs the storyline. It builds up the fight. Okay, it builds momentum, and it needs the storyline. So I don't know if Terence Crawford got buzzed and knocked out because I personally didn't see it myself, but I heard from credible people that this is what took place. But when Terence Crawford gets under the lights, he has 11 of his last fights ended with him knocking them out, and he's still undefeated. In 39 fights, he has 30 knockouts. So when the lights is at its brightest, what took place in sparring really doesn't matter. But now again, under the lights, he didn't fight Brian Norman, and things change. Now Terence Crawford may reverse the roles when he get under those lights with the little gloves and no headgear. Completely different situation. We know with Mitch Blood Green, it was being said that he got the best of Mike Tyson in those sparring sessions. He didn't get the best of Mike Tyson when it counted the most. Period. So it's entertaining. It builds up the storyline, and I truly don't even care who got the best of who. I care about the momentum it builds for the fights. And that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Do you think the sparring session matters? Do you think Brian Norman actually buzzed Terence Crawford? Do you think that Brian Norman will win under the lights when it counts, or Terence Crawford wins under the lights when it counts? Should they do it again? And do you want to see it? And that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue. Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notification. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all in one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.